Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Withinspiration Network and this Withinspiration Network message. If you are drawn to this message, I believe it's for a reason. I believe it's because you and I have something in common. I want to tell you today that I used to pastor a traditional Christian church, but there's been many years since I've gone back to a traditional church service. And if I'm honest with you, I don't plan on going back. Even though I love the experience, I love the people, but I can say that traditional church simply did not work for me. And that is why I have formed this Withinspiration Network channel here on YouTube. It is because I desire to connect with those who feel the same way. Because I do believe that we still need to have a community. We still need to have a place that we can go, whether it's in person or online, and feel the unconditional love that God has for each and every one of us. Because I know how it feels. Sometimes when you step away from something, you feel isolated. You have to battle feelings of rejection and discouragement. But for me, stepping away was the best thing that I could have ever done. Because the truth is, traditional church simply didn't work for me. I had a whole lot of questions that were never answered, questions that tugged at my heart. There was a lot of things that I just simply didn't believe, couldn't understand, especially when it comes to understanding God and understanding myself. The fact is, I simply got tired of putting on the smile. And I just have always been the type that questioned what I was hearing and questioning God and questioning life, even though I was told that you should never question God. But as time went on and I got deeper and deeper into that traditional church setting, loved the people, and I hope I can say that the people love me. But I will say that it came to a point where the questions got too deep. And so I had to step away. I had to step away from what had become traditional. And I started to answer the call of my heart to just move forward, move out of what I now believe had me bound and I didn't even know it. And I also started to ask the deeper questions. There were many things that did not make sense. And one thing that I do believe now is that our faith, what we believe, should make sense. Because I believe that our beliefs are the foundation of everything in our lives. Our beliefs determine how we think. Our beliefs determine how we feel. Our beliefs determine how we speak. And according to the Bible, all of those things play a part in creating our reality. So for me, I just started to ask questions and I started to seek answers outside of what was traditional. You know, the questions like, why is there a difference between the Old and the New Testament? And there's a significant reason for that nobody really talked about. Questions like, why does the Bible say that God is love, but yet God is portrayed as this being of wrath and anger in the Old Testament? But then Jesus comes and he declares that I and the Father are one. And Jesus welcomed those who were called sinners. He laid hands on the lepers that everybody was running away from. He embraced women that were looked down upon in that culture. And then there were also practical questions that I started to ask. Like, what am I supposed to tell my children? What am I supposed to teach my children about this God that they should depend on, but yet does all of these horrible things to people just because they're not aligned with his will? So this is why the Withinspiration Network exists. I hope you will tune in, as I am committed to creating videos to talk about those questions. Now, let me say this. I don't have all the answers, but I'm seeking them. I just want to be around people that I said, you know what? I may have left church, but I still love God. That's my motto. And I want people to understand, I still love God. I believe that there is a higher power, a creator of all things, a power. I no longer believe that God is this being sitting up in heaven on a throne, ready to strike down anybody that does the wrong thing. But I believe that God is a power that created all. And the good news is a power that is in each and every one of us. And I also believe in the message of Jesus. I will be talking about what I really now believe about Jesus. But one thing I do know is that Jesus came. And one thing that he stated that I wholeheartedly believe and spend every day, I believe everything that the scriptures record out of Jesus' mouth. But one thing that I take seriously, he said that I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. I believe that each and every one of us are intended, we are created to live an abundant life. But most people do not. And you know why? I believe it's because of the religion that we embrace, that told us that we were sinners, that we were unworthy, that we got to work hard to earn God's blessing, forsaking the truth about God's grace, and the understanding that God has already freely given us all things, but it's our faith that brings it from the Spirit into matter. So I am sure that there are more people out there, and I'm sending out my signal to you, and I hope that we can connect. And if you know anybody else is out there that's in the same situation that we are in, please, I ask you to share this video, share this channel, because moving forward together is much better than trying to stay separate. Yes, we may not go into a church building like we did before, but God has created us all to be connected because we're all one. And until we find that place of connection in person, I would love to just connect with you here. Because I tell you, in these times that we are living in, we need to know the truth. Because it's only the truth that makes us free. What is going on in society today is not trying to make us free, but to bring us into bondage. But that's why I love the gospel. I love what Jesus said. His teaching, his word, his message. Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. I believe in that message, and I believe what it can do in us. But most of us, we never truly heard the gospel. We heard more of religion. So if you join me here, I promise, God is revealing things to me that is meant for all of us. There is a life that we are meant to live in God as God lives in us. I believe in the story of creation. I believe that we were all created in the likeness and image of God. And that when God created humanity, God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves about on the earth. That doesn't sound like anybody that is supposed to struggle and strange. Think about that. We are created in the likeness and image of God. But I thought about this earlier. God loved humanity so much, according to the scriptures, is that he placed Adam and Eve, male and female, in a garden that he planted himself, filled with good things to tend and to keep. But as the story goes, mankind was kicked out of the garden. And we believe that. And that's why we embrace the lie that if we're struggling in life, that's how it's meant to be. Because the first Adam failed. But the good news is, I believe what Jesus does is reveal the truth. Jesus, as the scripture says, the second Adam came to reveal we were never kicked out of the garden. You know how we were kicked out? In our thinking. But Jesus, in the Gospels, reestablished us back in the garden to tend and to keep the good things that God has for all of us. So I promise you here today, if you join me here on the Withinspiration Network and the messages I will share, I promise you, it's going to help all of us to understand who we really are. One with God, created in love. And I want you to know today you are designed to live freely and abundantly. So I ask that you consider subscribing and joining me. I'm going to do my best to post as many videos as possible. So show me some love, and I promise you I'm going to show you love back, because we really are. We are in this together. So much love again from the Withinspiration Network. Stay tuned. Much more is on the way.